Hi everyone, this is my presentation on collection development and policies in libraries. So why do we have a collection policy? A collection policy essentially just helps librarians follow guidelines and criteria when it comes to purchasing, keeping and weeding or removing any materials or books, and it helps ensure that there is consistency throughout the library and that the library's goal matches the mission. Does that make sense? It supports intellectual freedom by helping librarians resist any external pressures and avoid self censorship by adhering to established guidelines. If they already have um, like rules for themselves or rules for the library and what they purchase and do not purchase, then it's gonna make it a lot easier to make decisions. It also helps ensure accountability since a policy demonstrates transparency to those stakeholders, to the parents or the patrons, all about how their resources are being allocated. This infographic here on the right was posted by the Missouri Association of State Librarians, which helps further break down what a collection policy can look like. I have the direct link to it on my references at the end because you cannot read it, but it actually is a great resource. Um, so, understanding self censorship. I'm sorry, I can't say this word. Self censorship occurs when librarians avoid purchasing, acquiring, or providing any access to certain materials due to fear of controversy or personal biases, either biases of their own or biases of the community around them. So, what's the problem with self censorship? It undermines intellectual freedom and limits any diverse perspectives in their collection. And why is it important to be aware of self censorship? It is because you're recognizing oh my God, recognizing biases ensures that all collections reflect a wide range of viewpoints and serve all community members equitably. So, a global perspective on self censorship. So, I chose an article that was actually written in Italian that translated to the intellectual freedom as a core value for library collections, and it was by Francesco Meliti. So in 2020, he wrote this article that essentially explores the concept of intellectual freedom as a foundational principle for library collections worldwide. This article emphasized that intellectual freedom ensures access to diverse ideas and perspectives and information, which is essential for democratic societies. Um, it highlights the challenges that libraries face in upholding this principle, including censorship, political pressures, and cultural differences. The key takeaways that I really took from this article was that intellectual freedom is not just a local or national issue that we're facing here in the United States or even just in Texas, since our government likes book banning, and now with the Department of Education being taken away or closing down. Um, but it's a global issue. So this is an issue that everyone is facing. Libraries must navigate varying cultural, political, and legal contexts to maintain open and inclusive collections. Self censorship by librarians is usually driven by fear or of controversy or external pressures, which can undermine intellectual freedom and limit access to any diverse materials. Last semester in Info 5000, I actually wrote a term paper, like our last paper that we had to turn in, that was titled The Criminalization of School Librarians in the Fight Against Censorship. So I kind of already had a little bit of this at the tip of my tongue. So, anywho, librarians must actively resist censorship and self censorship by adhering to professional ethics and collection policies that will help prioritize intellectual freedom in their library. Collections should always reflect a wide range of viewpoints, even those that may be unpopular or controversial, in order to serve the needs of all community members. And the photo I chose here is a photo of the Vatican Library in Rome because I thought it was fitting because Francesco is Italian, but also that's one of our largest and best libraries. I saw it a couple years ago in real life. So, balancing quality and popularity in children's collections. So, this is what Kyle wrote. It explores the tension between selecting good books and books kids like. So you're going to want a balanced approach. It is essential. Collections should include both high quality literature materials that resonate with young readers. So how should this affect our collection development? We need to prioritize diversity in genres, formats, and reading levels to meet the needs of the children. When I was a kid, I actually didn't speak English. I learned English when I went to kindergarten. And my local library had these little books in bags, like right here on the right, that were like hung on this round thing. And I would go with my mom, and she would take like an English class and a civics class so that she could get her citizenship. And I would go and choose a book from these little hanging bags. And then I would go home and pop the tape or the CD into our little boombox in the kitchen, and I would read along to books. And this is actually how I learned how to read English properly, because I used to pronounce words like the way I read them in Spanish, even if they were in English, like with a Spanish accent in my brain. So by hearing the narrator speak to me, I was literally learning how to say words in the right way. So this is also something that you should take into consideration when building your collection. So the goals for my collection development is I want to ensure that my collection represents diverse voices and perspectives. Um, I want to strive for a mix of educational and popular materials. I am currently doing my um, like mentorship at a campus here in San Antonio, and the librarian, I was chatting with her, and she was like, I don't like to buy a lot of Dogman specifically. She listed Dogman books. She said, I only keep 3 in my collection. She said, because if I buy the whole collection, that's all the kids will check out, and they won't read like other books. They only will read Dogman. And I thought that was very interesting because I never thought about that. I was just like, get the books the kids like so they read. So that is her trying to balance quality and demand. In order to avoid self censorship, I want to be mindful of biases and external pressures, be that parents, social media, the government, when I'm making selection decisions. So, in conclusion, a well crafted collection policy is essential for guiding decisions and supporting intellectual freedom, and also ensuring accountability as a librarian. Awareness of self-censorship and biases is critical for maintaining diverse and inclusive collections, and balancing quality and popularity is key, especially when you're looking at children's collections. And here are my references, and then I made a clearer slide with my references in just larger font. And that is it. Thank you so much.